no matter the situation, no matter the moment. This should not be a settle.
Mistakes happen, but they keep happening. How do you stop them happening? Why do they keep on happening?
I don't know. We need to be better. I think that is really clear, and it doesn't matter if we have a lot of time to train. If I know the players or not, it's not a settle. We need to change that. So we are continuing to work and to change these details that can change the game.
Mistakes are part of football, and you're going to do it, you're going to make it, and that's okay. But the thing is, like, you need to have the braveness to get back and do it again and do it again. We're even talking too much about difficult to play Old Trafford. How is possible that Man United has difficult to play at a home ground with the atmosphere that we have? We can't put all these things up to make excuses of not winning games and not being brave enough to do the things.
We had a good structure in the game. We had not big chances, but I think we were always a danger for them, and then we changed small things in the halftime, and then especially in the second half we were very stable against the ball. We had a good structure in possession, and in the end I think we deserved to win.
Thought we started well and then lost a bit of our shape and structure, and they obviously got the goal back, and poor goal to give away, but the way we play, sometimes it happens, and we showed a great reaction from that moment to get back in the game, raise the intensity, and we've had 3 massive games this week and 3 wins in this big week.
Well, both Duncan and Hertzler talked about structure, and tactically they got it spot on today, didn't they? Particularly out wide.
Yeah, they did, and maybe they identified some weaknesses in this Manchester United back 5, 3-5, however you see it, and use their wide players to really exploit that. And you can see right from the off what the intent was from the Brighton wide players, Matoma and Minter, stretching or trying to make runs from out to in. You can see getting between. You can see Euro getting and De Ligt getting in wrong positions here, and leaving massive gaps between fullbacks and your main centre half. And it just opened up the gap for Matoma to run into. You can see him again, really on the touchline, and then getting beyond the back line. And look at Manchester United's line, disjointed. And what you want from your opposite wide player when your winger on the other side is on the ball is for them to make up the box, and they do just that. It wasn't just the in-possession stuff that was good about both of the wide players today. And you can see Minter here, he's not giving up his chase and getting back and making a tackle here on Dallo and winning the ball back for his team, and then getting up the pitch. And the same on the opposite. Matoma, the ball goes past him, he thought his teammate had good possession, he didn't, but he fights to win it back and then just settles the play for Brighton, and they go again. Here's what I really like. Tries to win it. He doesn't win the first one, but what he does, he stays on it, allows his team to get behind the ball and reshape. And then, as we said, Minter on the other side. I mean, this is an unbelievable interception, reading the danger, getting back into a good position and sensing that. And then what his teammate did for him in the first half, Minter, he thought he'd do the same for Matoma on the opposite, and cuts back on the left and just leaves the ball into a great area. And what I said before, what you want from the opposite wide player when you're wingers on the ball is to make up the back post, and they do that. But look at this graphic. I think it basically shows you how good both of those wide players were in terms of distance covered and areas they got themselves into.
Well, even though they played as a back four, but the wingers virtually performed as wing backs when you see all those different places where they touch the ball. After the game, Ruben Amorim expanded a little bit more in his press conference about Manchester United. There's some of these quotes all over social media and will be all over the papers in the morning as well. This is what he had to say.
In 10 games in Premier League, we won 2. I know that. Imagine what is this for a fan of Manchester United. Imagine what is this for me. So we are getting a new coach that is losing more than the last coach. I have full knowledge of that. Like I said, I'm not going to change, no matter what. And I know we can succeed, but we need to survive this moment because I'm not naive. And I know that we need to survive now. So we are being the worst team, maybe, in history of Manchester United. I know that you want headlines, but I'm saying that because we have to acknowledge that and to change that. So here we go, your headlines.
Well, that will certainly be the headline. We are the worst team maybe in the history of Manchester United. He's trying to fire them up any which way he can, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really bold statement. I mean, to say that they're the worst ever in the Premier League, it's a team, the starting team today costs 391 million. They've got 341 caps between them. These are some experienced players that some of them, are still young. 5 summer signings cost 182 million that they've just brought in. So they're trying to strengthen. It's not working. They need to find a way. I personally wouldn't enjoy being called out like this. It would probably fire me up, which is probably the intent, but nobody wants to be known as the worst team that's ever played for a certain football club. And, that's a really bold, probably an honest and probably right on the mark statement.
There are probably a lot of fans who will agree with them, particularly ones who were there today, because, at times they looked a right shower, didn't they?
Yeah, they definitely did. And certainly defensively, you can't argue with some of the quotes that he's come out with. But I think the back 5/3, however we see it, in particular, you can see right from the off. I mean, the intent they're at home. We're at Old Trafford here against Brighton, and yes, it's a kick-off. It's only Xerxes that wants to go. Maguire, challenges the first. No intent to get up the pitch and close the second balls down. But you can already see Yoro here wants to go in on Pedro, which in doing that is working into Brighton's hands. We just spoke about it before. Wide players wanting to run into that space that they leave, and they did it all afternoon. And this Manchester United back 5, you see it here again. Yoro going right in on Pedro. You've got Welbeck as your other number 10 that starts as a striker and drops into that 10 position. You've got De Ligt, half an eye on him. Do I go? Don't I go? Yoro, we see, is still in there. De Ligt wants to go in. What that does is create a massive gap between the back 3 and then the space that Brighton were looking for all afternoon just opens up for them. And I think defensively, Leon, they were all over the place, this Manchester United back 5.
Yeah, I mean, that one was a simple goal, but, you get in at half-time, you come out in the second half. Has anything changed? Well, no, I mean, this is a team we've just showed centre-halves are trying to learn their new role. They're trying to step in. They're wondering whether to go in or not. There's absolutely no pressure on the ball. What are they expecting? If they're going to try and step in and going to be aggressive, that front lot in front, the front 5 in front, have got to pressurise the ball a lot better. They can't get beat that easy. The back 5's getting criticised because they're not keeping efforts out.
It's a team thing, isn't it?
It's a team thing. The people in front of them just aren't closing down. We just talked about Everton earlier in the show, starting aggressively, putting the opposition on the front foot, on the back foot. Manchester United aren't doing anything like that. They're so easy to play against at the moment.
And they make individual mistakes.
Yeah, it's a big pitch and they allow that, and then they tire themselves out, and then you make dreadful errors like that. So if it's going wrong at one end of the pitch, you're not able to sort it at the other, and then you're making huge mistakes as well. It's making them look
But you mentioned, going back to the start, and Everton, and they haven't played that, and they played that, and they knew what they were doing. He's not asking them to be nuclear physicists. He's asking them to switch from a back 4 to a back 3. How hard can it be?
No, I'm not saying it is, but
is it hard? Genuinely, is it hard?
It's different. It shouldn't be this hard. But if you're not prepared to run around the pitch, you're not closing down. I mean,
it's hard to explain. We have to acknowledge the moment and not going around the problem. Everybody here is underperforming. No matter what the circumstances, we are underperforming. And we have to accept that it's unacceptable to lose so many games for any club in Premier League. Imagine Manchester United. So it's a really hard moment, but we have to continue. We have to continue. There is no other way. We need to suffer and continue.
Samuel. You said in the week that you learned more from the Southampton game this week in general after 2 poor performances, 1 good result, 1 bad result. What have you learned about these players?
The opponents are better than us in many details, that we cannot be consistent, that I'm not helping my players in the moment. So it's a hard moment. You have to acknowledge that we are in a very difficult situation. We are without all the bad records, as losing games at home, losing games at Premier League. So we are really underperforming, and we need to win games. That's all.
James.
Ruben, when you say you're not helping players, what do you mean by that? When you say everyone's underperforming, do you consider yourself now?
I knew that was going to be hard, put a completely new idea in the moment. But then when you lose games, you don't have that luck to win 3 games in a row. It's becoming really hard. So that's why I'm telling that we are going to suffer, because I will continue to do the same. So to help my players is to give them the tools to play in this way. But then without training is really hard. Then without training in losing games, and you can feel it in the end of the game. Everybody was changing position, was not in, and that is something that I will not see again. We can lose, but we have to maintain position. If I want to show some different, I just want to help my players. I want to show to the media or to the fans, I put 2 strikers. I didn't put 2 strikers because if I put 2 strikers, it is going to be more difficult for them to understand the way we play. So I'm just here to try to help my players, but we need to understand that we are breaking all the bad records. So it's a proud thing we need to change.
Ruben, you said that obviously the opposition has been better in a lot of the games that you faced this season. That's going to be very difficult for fans to hear a Manchester United head coach say that. I mean, that kind of, how do you...
Yes, in 10 games in Premier League we won 2. I know that. Imagine what is this for a fan of Manchester United. Imagine what is this for me. So we are getting a new coach that is losing more than the last coach. I have full knowledge of that. Like I said, I'm not going to change no matter what. And I know we can succeed, but we need to survive this moment, because I'm not naive. And I know that we need to survive now. So we are being the worst team, maybe, in history of Manchester United. And I know that you want headlines. But I'm saying that because we have to acknowledge that and to change that. So here we go, your headlines.
Jamie. Hi, Ruben. There's a case that Marcus Rashford is probably the best forward here, certainly one of the best forwards. Did you feel sort of like disappointed or let down that he's not here to be able to help the team when you're in a difficult situation, not to bring him on or whatever? Do you feel let down by him?
No.
So why not? Because you yourself have said he was left out for training reasons. That's his responsibility, right? So that's on him, yes?
Guys, like you said, is his choice. And I don't want to focus this bad moment, because in this moment Rashford is not here. In the last games that we lost, Rashford was not here. So I don't want to put this moment on Rashford. Rashford is out of this moment because he's not playing. And no matter what, I'm not going to put a player that I don't believe is the best for the team. That's all.
Okay, so just with regard to it's difficult for your players to take on a new idea, your idea for the season. These are top professionals. How difficult can it be?
Guys,
they're very good players in theory.
Yeah, but they are used to different things, and then you already saw in your years of experience, sometimes you have one team that almost win the league, and then the next season is really bad, without confidence. Our players are really nervous and anxious, and then when you go inside the pitch, you remember the last games here. If I feel it, the players feel it a lot. So the only way is to continue to do the same and to win games. That's the only way to fix this.
Carl.
For most of today, it looked as if Brighton was stronger and quicker to these second balls. You've spoken a lot about physicality and how you really want your players to run back and really battle. How do you build that in a team right now? How do you build this physicality multiple times?
First of all, it's training. Then we need to, in everything we do, even if the train is small, it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we have to give everything. And then we have to be prepared to suffer. And that's is the only way. And then we have to feel that feeling that we felt against Liverpool, losing, and then reach a game of Liverpool in something appears to the players. We have to feel that every day. Even when we win 2 games, we need to have that feeling every day. But I think in the training ground during the week is the best way to train that thing.
Business once more on the back of that very important equaliser. 1-1. So deflection, and it will be a throw-in. Well, what can they do to stop him running at them? Romeo Lavia. And there it is, the half-time result. So the beginning of the second half here at Stamford Bridge. Possession one. Mudryk. Being egged on by the crowd. And a goal to re-establish their advantage. Just look at the celebrations. Palmer.